We are breaking down scope management and requirements, a critical knowledge area for your PMP exam. Let's start with collecting requirements. The exam will test your ability to choose the right tool for the situation. Use interviews for gathering detailed, confidential information from a single stakeholder. Focus groups are best for generating a variety of ideas and achieving consensus within a group of stakeholders. Prototyping is ideal when requirements are unclear. You create a working model to elicit tangible feedback. An exam question might describe a scenario where stakeholders are unsure of their needs for a new software interface. In this case, building a prototype would be the best answer. The trick is to match the tool to the specific communication need described in the question. Now, let's clarify two commonly confused documents: the project scope statement and the work breakdown structure, or WBS. The project scope statement is a narrative document. It describes in detail the project's deliverables and the work required to create them. It includes things like project objectives, constraints, and assumptions. The WBS, on the other hand, is a hierarchical visual decomposition of the total scope of work. Think of it this way. The scope statement tells you what you are building, while the WBS breaks that what into smaller, manageable work packages. An exam question might ask what document contains the detailed description of work packages. The answer is the WBS dictionary, which accompanies the WBS, not the scope statement. Another key distinction tested is product scope versus project scope. Product scope defines the features and functions of the final product or service. Project scope is all the work that must be done to deliver that product. For example, the product scope for a new smartphone might be a 12-megapixel camera and a 6-inch screen. The project scope includes the design, engineering, assembly, and testing work required to build that phone. The PMP exam will present scenarios where a stakeholder requests a new feature. You must first determine if this change affects the product scope, the project scope, or both before initiating the formal change control process. This leads us to scope creep, which is the uncontrolled expansion of project scope without adjustments to time, cost, or resources. The number one way to prevent scope creep is by having a detailed scope baseline and enforcing a strict, formal change control process. A common exam trap is a question where a key stakeholder makes a small verbal request. The correct action is never to just do it. You must guide the stakeholder to submit a formal change request, which then gets evaluated for its impact on the entire project. Here's a phrase to help you remember the difference between the main scope documents. The S statement describes, the WBS decomposes. The project scope statement describes the work in text, while the WBS decomposes that work into a visual hierarchy. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.